showing anything on the YouTube channel just yet.
I've just started it right now. Yeah, let me know if it's working.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Cool. It should be just a black screen at the moment, but let me know when you see some visuals.
So you want to do that?
Okay.
So,
Let's see.
Dean, what advice have you got about the audio if you're playing in your headset or on the speakers?
With your headset, which headset are you using? Your Razer one?
Well, I'm alright. I think Sarah was telling me she's gonna use the computer today.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure it's actually playing from the PC and not an actual headset or something that you usually listen to.
Cool.
Okay, I've got a delay when it comes to the streaming, so I'm not gonna watch it.
Okay.
It's really kind of confusing because if I have that playing, I'm like, I guess I could mute it and just look at the visuals, but I've survived so far without it.
See if you can do the YouTube or like the auto captions or something maybe. Or actually that might be weird when it's live. I'm not sure. Well, or we could just do it and see what happens. I mean, Dean, what have you got on your side?
I just see. Oh, wait, let me turn up. Yeah, I've got about a 5-second delay. No?
Well, that's right. I mean, they're short videos, so how about we can just watch it, or...
It's just our Sci-Fi on Ice
yeah.
kind of wallpaper at the moment.
Alright, should we just start then?
Yep.
Groovy. Alright. No countdown, we just go straight in.
Sure. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dude, you got your countdown.
Alright, welcome everyone to another meeting for Sci-Fi on Ice, and we're going to look at story number 19, and it is 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray Nelson, and it was popularized by a film called They Live by John Carpenter. Have you guys seen other movies by John Carpenter? Like, The Thing?
The Vampire?
Yes.
I mean, I don't recognize the name, but then I don't recognize names of most things that are well known.
Now you do.
It did come out in 1988.
Yeah. I was just a wee little fish back then, but it was one of those like teenage discoveries. But yeah, so this is a story about a man who he gets hypnotized and he finds out that there's this secret reptilian alien people who live amongst us, and they control us. And so he is hypnotized and finds out about these people, and he wants to awaken civilization or the human race about the goings on of these people and how they're controlling us. And man, it's a really short story. And it's almost too succinct. You know, it's got an ending like they lived happily ever after and they had 3 kids. It sort of, it tells you, obviously, well, it's not that, but they go to there's a war that it leads up to in the end, and it also says, there was a war and then they won, and it was like, okay, all done in 6 pages, bravo. Yeah, how do you guys find this story?
I really liked it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. it's one of those ones where you kind of wish there was more, um, because I think it was snappy and to the point. I would have liked more, as in context and a bit more development in terms of the character, but I thought how it was delivered, in that it was kind of straight into the action and straight into the heart of it. I liked it.
Cool, Dean.
Yeah, also really liked it. I did find that I was still going. I was still on, on the climax of the story, and then it just ended.
Mm.
So yeah, but he could have probably written another 2 pages, maybe, just with the fallout, and I would have enjoyed that. But yeah, for 6 pages, it was very nice. Nice little story.
Right on. Yeah, same. Yeah, I like it a lot. And I mean, one problem for me was that I've seen the film first, which the film is based on this story. So I kept a lot of my understanding of the story was based on the movie, which it's it kind of is a bit distracting because I fill the gaps with plot points from the movie, and but to the point of it being quite snappy and effective. I liked how, say, his girlfriend, is it Lil, and
Yeah.
I liked how, that her reaction I thought was quite authentic. It was, she was just in total disbelief. How some stories they're like, okay, no, I'm convinced. Yeah, okay, they're alien people, and I'm on your side now. She was just mortified the whole time, and he was frustrated. He was like, why can't you wake up and see these people for who they are? And I thought I really liked that scene when he kills what's the guy's name? Uh,
Mr.
Mr.
Coney.
Mr. Coney. Yeah, because that. Yeah, because on one hand, as a reader, we know what it's about, but then I really I could get into the shoes of his girlfriend and think, oh yeah, no, it's a pretty hard story to sell, and especially when I guess she still sees like dead Coney as a human, but he sees him as like a reptile or the reptilian alien on the floor.
Yeah, I thought they were going to make it that he was actually human, and that, he was making a mistake. But yeah, it was quite funny.
Well, there are some tricky things with the story where there could have been room for that because the story is called 8 o'clock in the morning, which we find out at the end is the time when he dies. He's told at the beginning of the story, "You're gonna die at 8 o'clock in the morning," and then he's in denial because he's like, "I've worked out, I know the secret about you guys, and now I'm pulling the lid off it, right?" But he ends up
Yeah,
dying at 8 o'clock in the morning, so that's the truth. And there's, I think there was room for sort of a what if he was wrong? Maybe he was crazy, but the story concludes with there was a war and then they won. So it's like, okay, no, he was on the right side, but it was. I reckon that would have made it more interesting if they had left doubt, like in his journey.
Mm. Yeah, they didn't like wrap it up in a nice bow like that.
Yeah, just happily ever after, and then they had kids and they went to college, and it was all dandy. That kind of ending.
Mm. Yeah, no, well, like Dane said, there could be like two more pages at the end. I think also two more pages at the beginning, because I think when um, when I finished it, I just thought they must have padded this out for a movie, because there is a nice bit of character, like, to start with
Mm.
in this story, but yeah, there's not much else. Um, but I think, yeah, without that twist, or I should say, leaving it so that there was this question mark at the end, would have been more interesting. Kind of left more of a wanting at the end to know, is it true? Was he right or was he wrong?
I'm so tempted to just sort of like fill the gaps with what I know from the film, because it does everything that you've just sort of begged for, as far as the character. Like it's yeah, and okay, maybe I'll stop. We'll talk about the movie later, but no, yeah, yeah, the premise is quite exciting. A nice what if, and
When it came to the movie, was the author working with them to like expound on this story?
well, I think not. So it was written in the early '63, and then the movie is like 80s, 88,
88.
88. Yeah. So there's 20 years there. Ray Nelson, the author of the story, I don't know much about him. I mean, I only know of him because of John Carpenter, who's the director, and who essentially did this film. But
20 years isn't that long of a time,
yeah, but yeah, I mean, maybe. Question, maybe.
isn't it? But because yeah, I just wonder if it was like kind of what the author intended. If he had written a longer story, is it true to it? Like Margaret Atwood and the Handmaid's Tale.
What?
Or
Well, I
19.
appreciated both, and I felt it was pretty
Mhm.
authentic. The movie, so there's definitely a lot of respect given to the story.
It doesn't have a death date, so it seems he might. Yeah, he's 89 years old. He's still alive.
Is it Ray Nelson?
Yeah,
Nice. All right. Yeah, he probably does know then. Cool.
yeah. It says he's most famous for his story 8 o'clock in the Morning, which was later used by John Carpenter as the basis for his 1988 film They Live.
Mm.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Okay. No, it just means like I guess with the author's blessing, the movie also carries a bit more weight and a bit more truth because then you can kind of get more insight into what the author maybe intended. Um, but then again, like yeah, it's such a short story, but it could have been expounded into so much more. Um, why keep it so short?
Yeah, I mean, well, short stories are short stories, but
It's
I
just
yeah,
short.
too short. Could have been at
Yeah,
least
it's
10
pages.
pages. Yeah.
Not even. The last one's only about a third.
Yeah, okay. 5 and a bit pages. Yeah. And then there's, as I told you before, it's quite heavy on the dialogue, so that spaces out the pages as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I quite liked how they referred to the reptiles as fascinators.
Mm.
Mm.
It really
Yeah.
does make us sound like these brain dead kind of, the wool pulled over your eyes type of thing.
Yeah. What it just kind of um let's say compounds the fact that they are that good at mesmerizing and getting people to believe because it draws all the attention to just what they want. So it's a good choice of title, yeah. Because yeah, they relied on the eye contact, right, with the posters and the telly and making sure they can see the fascinator and therefore
Yeah.
believe the message. Mm.
Old school hypno.
But yeah, I would have liked to know more. That's all. Definitely at the beginning, a little bit more of a build up would have been better.
Yeah, like the show, like
Yeah.
what was
Why would you have a hypnot like if that was me ruling this planet and I told people, as part of the gimmick to wake up, I feel like as a ruler I'd probably have and I had that much control over the people, probably wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, or you wouldn't make it so easy. I think the film
Hmm.
addresses that, and the film does it quite nicely actually. It takes like half an hour before he finds out about them. And yeah, it's not thrown upon him as it is in this story. Um, and yeah, it's a bit of a hole. I think it's just it's like but maybe then again, it's that sort of when you're in that power and you sort of want to show them, like, look, hey, this is what we actually are. You know, you know, or this. But then I would want to know about the hypnotist. Like, did he have any motive to like sort of help or to in order to reveal that aspect of the fascinators?
Mm. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Maybe there's a whole group working against them, trying to keep their secret. Like like keep themselves secret from the fascinators, I mean.
Yeah, and there was something I thought which was quite interesting about the story. I mean, now George, our main character's last name is Nada, which I guess means nothing, right? So he's George Nothing, like he's a nobody, right? And in the Fascinators, I felt like they were sort of um, they were supposed to represent like the bourgeoisie of society, and there was a part of me thinking like, oh, he felt so nonchalant, so easy with killing the Fascinators, um, as if they were so alien to himself, and maybe how some people would kill the bourgeoisie people because they would feel. So I'm thinking of communists here, which I sort of thought was a bit of a stretch, but then yeah, I could sort of see that coming through the story.
Mm.
The sort of the appeal to the communist route of like, oh, we just kill all the people in control, and then and then what? And then you're left with I don't know, the war and the aftermath of the war. Um, yeah. What what do you guys think about the policeman? Because at the beginning he talks to the policeman, and the policeman what does he say? He's like he has the first phone call with the policeman, but then later he tells the policeman like, "Oh, this is the true story," and then the policeman's like, "All right, we're with you now." And I was, that was a bit of a plot hole. I was like, wait, you're
What do they call it? This is your control? This is your control.
Yeah.
I wonder why they.
when he was in the bar, right? He gets the
Yeah, he didn't. I don't remember the policeman showing any support. He said, "George, where are you?" And then he hung up.
yeah, but and I guess he goes on the TV later, and then he reveals the alien people, and then I guess the whole world sees it, and then everything I guess unravels because they're like, oh, yep, no, he was right. Um, yeah, no, no, you're right. Yeah, the policeman didn't give support from the phone call because he was like, come and talk to us, right?
Yeah, and even the security guard, he shot him with a poison dart.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that though.
It was
Was
like there was no support from anyone. I mean, I like. Well, you're just saying about when they woke up and they would have seen things. I just think of Lil there, bound and gagged.
mm,
Mr. Conway suddenly turns into a reptile on on her living room floor or whatever. Um, she must then be like, oh, okay, get it
That's what he was talking about.
now.
Too bad I'm gagged and tied up. Too bad.
Well, one would hope that he went back to Lil, untied her, and was like, "Join the cause, lady."
Pity about that heart attack. Yeah, but yeah,
Who told him he was going to die?
he
It
got
was the control, isn't
yeah.
it? Then, like,
But they don't ever say what the control is.
um, yeah, no,
You
it's
just
just this is your control, Chief of Police Robinson. You're an old man, George Nada. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, your heart will stop.
Mm,
So it's a bit like 1984, isn't it? Where like you had a certain group and they were monitored, and you had your different departments and your different like sections. Um, so there was probably like a group of maybe flats or something, was all under the control of Robinson or whatever his name truly was. Um, and then another district maybe was under the control of someone else.
Yeah, everything's controlled by the state. Almost everything is planned, and
Yeah, they were told what to think, what to say, what to do.
Yeah, when to die.
it's like
When
it's
to
like
die.
it's like Plato's Republic, basically. Yeah, just everything is designed, and there's no.
Yeah, you can't look after that many people though. You're going to delegate. So yeah, you're going to have a different area. So like this is your control, the one for your area.
All right, so let's try the video. Okay, it's a short video, so should we do it? I'm gonna play the first video. This is when in the movie I think he's called George as well, or Nada. Yeah, and have you got the stream? What do you guys see on your stream at the moment? What?
Hypnotist dude.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just do it. It's a short video, so let's watch it, and feel free to talk over it as we watch it. And so the first video is when he's just found out about he's wearing these. So in the movie he gets these sunglasses which lets them see the fascinators or the reptilian aliens. So anyway, without further ado, let's watch our first video commentary.
The feeling is definitely there. It's a new morning in America. Fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone.
There we go.
We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism. There are no limits.
It
We must
figures
look
it would
at
be
the
something
strength
like this.
of our nation, our ideals, of vision.
Excuse
We don't want to
me.
just survive.
You know, you look like your head fell on the cheese dip back in 1957. Dude, you're okay. This one, real fucking okay. You see, I take these glasses
She
off.
seems a bit
She
uppity.
looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on.
Yeah, like-
That's what we
That's
got.
enough out of you. Get out of there. I call the cops.
Call the cops. You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
I've got one that can see.
He's a tall, Caucasian male, doesn't appear armed, wearing sunglasses.
I don't like this one bit. Not one bit.
Not very reptilian.
That's like pouring perfume on a pig.
All right, supposed
Here comes the police.
That's far enough. Where'd you get those glasses?
Tooth fairy.
Oh, bet.
I love the one-liners.
You got him. Think you stopped shaving this morning?
You look as shitty to us as we do to you.
Impossible.
It would be easier if we don't have to splatter your brains. Just take it easy. And if you stumbled onto something here, maybe we can all benefit from this slight misunderstanding. Now let's go someplace quiet so we can talk this over.
So you bastards die just like we do.
Alright. So we just watched, is it finished on your end?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just watched George Nada go full warrior against, for the cause against the, Fascinators. And, in that short clip, you sort of see how his world kind of, changes. And then to the point where he's just arming himself. He's willing to kill the cops. And then go on a mission.
I feel like he reacted somewhat differently to maybe the best approach.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
he just walks out into the street with a rifle and like cocks it and just like, bring it on, bitches. And then all these cars come around. You're like,
Oh,
I just feel as a film, maybe it's not gonna be my cup of tea.
oh, it's so 1980s, right? And it's so unrealistic. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm just yeah. There were so many movies like that in the 80s as well. It was just that over the top heroism and that you just and senseless violence, like just just going straight for the kill rather than any sort of like trying to work out the problem, as the cop alluded to at the beginning of their conversation. But
Yeah,
I like
He's
the
not- he's
change.
not- it doesn't seem like the most. I don't know. It's like as a protagonist, it's like gung ho. Oh, not happy, kill them all, rather than actually trying to understand the extent of it, or like the greater good kind of take on things. Where you're like, oh, I've discovered a secret, but it's my obligation, it's my duty to uncover it. He's just like, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like you. You look freaky. I'm gonna kill you. Like,
Yeah.
this seems to be the extent of his logic. I don't like it, so I'm going to kill it.
Yeah, you get some. Definitely gets a bit worked up, and the actor is. Do you guys know who that guy is?
No.
He's a ex. I think he's passed away, but he's an ex WWF wrestler from the 80s and the 90s. Roddy Piper. He used to come out into the ring with his bagpipes, and sometimes he'd have like a marching band, like a Highland marching band, like where he'd follow it, and everyone was really, all the other wrestlers were scared of that, and I look back and I think it's really lame, but
So we're just glad he doesn't have a fake Scottish accent.
didn't even try. He didn't even try. He was just Roddy Piper.
I'm not surprised he had a different career at the start, other than acting.
Yeah, and it kind of like, for me, like knowing that he's that coming from that fake acting, because that's what it is, right? That, well, no,
It's so cheesy. Yeah.
yeah, and so it's sort of, because it's him, it's like okay, and maybe we'll watch the next clip, which is where he convinces one of his friends to that the Fascinators are a thing, because he won't put on the glasses, his friend, and they have a fight for 5 minutes, but I'm just going to show the last minute of it, which I think is going to be good enough, so let's play it. like Stevie Wonder.
Look! Look at them! They're everywhere!
Maybe they can see early 5th and spring.
Now hold on. You ain't the first son of a bitch to wake up out of their dream.
See everything.
Brother, life's a bitch. She's back in heat.
Do you guys like the one-liners?
Cinematic greats.
Yeah, so that so in the story he doesn't convince his girlfriend, but in the movie his friend is one of their close is one of the people he tries to convince, and he has a 5-minute fight, which is kind of famous. Cause you sort of think, like, if you're dedicated to fight for 5 minutes on the street, you know what I mean? There's a bit of you're not mucking around, right? It's not legit. Is that okay? There are
Yeah.
aliens. You're gonna fight me for 5 minutes? I believe you, aliens. And he forced the sunglasses onto him, which kind of helped.
I
Where
don't
does he
think
get the sunglasses?
I didn't hear. I heard both of you guys just then.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, where does he get the sunglasses?
Oh, in the movie, there's this church or whatever with a chemistry lab in the back. It's a bit of a stretch, but yeah, he, along with the bad acting, but yeah, he gets them, and now he's trying to convince the world that, all right, these fascinators are the problem, and we need to overcome our bourgeoisie alien masters. And there's something that I think is okay with killing alien masters compared to bourgeoisie masters, which I thought was interesting.
What do you mean? Because as long as the masters are not mistreating you, like, people are fine. It's as soon as people are disgruntled with their masters of any kind,
But yeah, I think
we
that
feel
was.
revolution is the only way forward.
Well, I think part of the especially in the early 20th century around the world, that a lot of it was sort of propaganda, and then people getting worked up to overthrow. Especially, like, you think of, like, the wharfies in England and I guess the English-speaking countries, that was sort of, they, because they ended up earning more money than a lot of other working class people, and so it was just like, the point was, it was like these pointing to a bad guy. And I definitely take the point about aliens definitely seem a bit more suspicious than the bourgeoisie, but I guess I'm just making a bit of a parallel to overcoming the work, because in the movie they're definitely the working class, like, they work on a construction site and they live like in a homeless shelter, and they're treated like what is it, squab? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have helped the story, is if there was a bit more context as to why he was um, so adamant about killing these fascinators. Because, yeah, now that you mention it, in the story, there's no real context except, ugh, you're a lizard man, die. Um,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, kind of maybe a fair enough reaction if you're faced with something like an alien in your face all of a sudden and you feel surrounded by them. But the fact that he goes on this whole vendetta to awaken everyone, I guess, yeah, the story is missing a little bit more of the context as to his reasoning, his justification. Um, because with the other stories where we've seen like an uprising, I think, of that, was it the beetles, something about beetles or bugs, where they're on the other planet,
Yes.
you can understand that resentment.
Mm.
Whereas this one, yeah, you're not given a clear indication except that they have complete control But is that control like stifling them? Is there any kind of that reason as to, you know, they're being stopped from doing something they want to do? We don't know if there is or isn't arts and culture and travel and things like that.
Well, that's a very good question, and the next video kind of answers that. There's one of the guys from the construction, the laborer guys. He gets in with the aliens, and you'll see as I play the video, he sort of begs them to stop fighting them because it's like, look at what they do for us. And so, without further ado, I'll play that video.
Yeah,
And
I didn't mean in the
oh,
story,
yeah.
but yeah.
Oh, I think it's interesting, and it also, yeah. All right.
Well, boys, as far as we go.
This will allow space sensors to penetrate natural barriers and camouflage.
Can you get us inside? I've never seen the inside of a TV studio before. You look like the gentleman to ask.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be that much problem. You see them boys over there? Friends of mine. Hey, fellas, I got a couple of my buddies here. Thought I'd give them the grand tour. Think we can go inside?
Be serious. You have your authorization cards. Right here. Watch the door.
Good friends, eh?
Where's that signal?
It's up on the roof, I think.
Holly works in there. If she made it, maybe we can find her. Then we can go to the roof and break that signal.
Wait, boys, wait. You're making a big mistake.
You made the mistake.
No, you gotta listen to me. I thought you boys understood. It's business. That's all it is. You still don't get it, do you, boys? There ain't no countries anymore. No more good guys.
Kind of looks
They're
like the
running whole
KFC guys.
show. They own everything. The whole
Stream
goddamn
dropped.
planet. They can do whatever they want. What's wrong with having it good for a change?
Yeah,
If
for
you don't listen, we
violation,
just help 'em.
policy
Ah.
violation.
Quality violation.
No.
Yeah, you're playing too much of that movie, I guess.
Yeah.
You do it to your own kind.
Well, luckily I've got it recorded.
We all sell out every day. Might as well be on
Well,
the winning
okay.
team.
I'll
But yeah, it's been like the Monty Python sketch said. It's like, yeah, well, what have the Romans ever done for us?
Let's go!
I suppose he never did anything until he got the phone call saying, you're going to die tomorrow morning.
Come inside with me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
and
bit.
then he time limit, right? And he's like, well, if I'm gonna die, go out with a bang.
Yeah. Because the first one he killed was the one at the bar.
No, it was the drunk, wasn't it? The guy down the alley.
Yes. But there was no reason for him killing him. Other than just...
Yeah, it's the pure joy of it. Yeah, because that's not until you saw the video and you realize actually there wasn't really any reason except maybe just the imminent knowledge of his death. In fact, he was like, well, I don't like this. Something feels odd. I've only got 6 hours or so. So
Winners give a press
go out with a
conference
bang.
and how to buy a sailboat.
But the actual story, the written story, I think would have benefited from a bit more context and a little bit more background. To kind of even to show that split of, yes, they have helped our society and culture, but they are super controlling alien overlords. Swings and roundabouts, what do I do? I guess a little bit more conflict, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, what's wrong, baby?
I don't think I'll be watching that movie anytime soon, though.
Yeah, it's a bit
hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like 80s I don't know, 80s, just the 80s in general, that was a bit was a bit reactionary to all the like what was happening in the previous decades. But yeah, it was, I guess it was a bit more absurd things were happening in the 80s. But anyway, I guess YouTube stopped us from playing literally like 2 minutes of a movie. That's a bit of a that's a bit of a that's a bit of a letdown. Like you know, um, but maybe I should have just made it 10 seconds or something. I don't know. Oh well, but
Well, shall we go on to scoring, or is there anything else we need to discuss? It's not that long of a story.
yeah, no, I think I'm pretty much done. I'll go first with the score. Yeah, I really liked it. It was succinct. I think a lot of um the plot points were really believable, and I felt I was along for an exciting ride, and so I'm gonna give this score. I'm gonna give this story a score of 419 out of 500.
Okay.
Dean, do you want to go next?
Okay. I am gonna give it a score of 380. 380.
380.
Yeah, not too bad, not too great, but
See,
good overall.
I was going to give it a higher score, but then actually when we discussed it, and I realized just how many things were lacking from it, because I thought, yeah, so more at the beginning would have helped, but then you pointed out the very lame ending, and then the fact that there's no real struggle or conflict, which makes this George person sound like really deep down maybe he's just homicidal. Given an ultimatum, not an ultimatum, given a deadline of his own life, he went, well, I'm going to take these guys with me. Which means maybe he's not that great of a guy. So I'm going down to 312. 312.
All right. Let me update your score at 312. All right. Fantastic. That was a good discussion, and albeit marred by YouTube's unnecessary overregulation. It's probably good for some people, but not for the purposes of our discussion. But yeah. Well, we read 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray Nelson, and I think it was pretty well received by us. Let's see what our average score is. Let's have some trumpets. Oh, we got some snares.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Tapping on my computer.
370. That's a good score. I reckon it's pretty top. All right, let's see where we are on the table. So it's not one of our lowest scores. It's come up to just below Waterclap. Waterclap was 371, and 8 o'clock in the morning is 370. There we go. Good ending. I mean, well, yeah, good position in the chat. And Dean's gonna recommend a story for next session.
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys in the morning.
Sweet. All right. Good chatting to you guys. See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.